Hello, my friends from India. Today we're learning Baba Basra Daf Samech. So we're going to start two lines down. Lokach bayis b'chotzer cheres lo yiftechenu lechotzer shutfim. So we said that if someone has a house and the chotzer is a shared chotzer of other people, and now he bought another house in a different chotzer and he wants to open it to this chotzer. So we said it's forbidden for him to do so. So says the Gemara, my time, and what's the reason? So the Gemara, Mifnei shemar be'aleim esaderech. So the Rashbam explains, because there's more people coming in and out now, so there's less, they have to be more tzniusdik. That means if until now there's only one shutuf, let's say, and he had to be aware from him if he wants to do private stuff in the chotzer. Now he has another house, there's more people to be tzniusdik away from him. Says the Gemara, let's look at the end of the Mishnah. Elohim Rotzo, if he wants, if he wants to do an attic, he builds a room, and he builds an attic on top of it, and the entrance is to his own house. Says the Gemara, what does that help? There's more people coming in and out because there's another family moved into this attic. Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Huna, my cheder, when it says cheder, it means they split a room into two. He didn't build the extra room. My aliyah apati, meaning when you split a room not into two like the normal way you'd split a room into two, you build a ceiling half the height of the room, and then now you have two rooms like an attic on top, because there's two rooms, one a bottom room and one on top. And that's mutter, because even though that there's more people who could live here now, but it's all in the same house. I mean, if I have a house in Chotzer Shutpim, I'm allowed to bring lots of people to live there. But to add extra rooms or extra attics, that's forbidden, because it's a whole new entity and then it's an issue. But to make the house that exists already and to split it into more rooms, that's no issue. It says a Mishnah, Lo iftach odom lechotzer shutfim petach keneged petach. If I have a house, and outside the house is a chotzer that belongs to a few people, and I want to open an entrance, I'm not allowed to open my entrance connected the Pesach of the other house, because then we could peek into each other. And we're going to see in the Gemara why not. The chaloin connected chaloin, also to open a window against the window of your neighbor, is forbidden. Or your cotton, if he had a small petach, lo yaseh godol, he's not allowed to make it big. Echod, he had one pesach, lo yaseh shnayim, he's not allowed to make it into two psochim. If your house is connected to Rishus Rabim and you want to open a Pesach connected Pesach, even though on the other side of Rishus Rabim there's someone else's Pesach, then there's no issue, and the Gemara is going to explain why. The chaloin connected chaloin, and a window against the window in Rishus Rabim, or your cotton, if it was a small window, so Gadol is allowed to make it big. The echod, if it was one window, or so Shnayim, you can make it into two windows. Says the Gemara, why is it that you're not allowed to open a Pesach keneged Pesach? Omar Rabbi Yochanan, the Omar Kro, it said in the pasuk by Bilam, Ve'isa Bilam es Einov, Bilam looked by Yara and he saw as Yisrael, Klal Yisrael, Sheichin es Shvotov. They were sitting for the Shvotim. Says the Gemara, Mayra, what did he see? What did Bilam see? Ra shein pische oleye mechuvonim zelezu. He saw that each one, his entrance of his tent wasn't connected across from the other person's tent. I mean, each one had his entrance of his tent hidden. That for tzniusdik reasons. Omar, so Bilam saw that, said, Ru'uyim alolu, these people deserve Klal Yisrael, shetishra aleim shchina, that shchina should be shoyre on Klal Yisrael, because they have tznius. So we could see from Bilam and Klal Yisrael in the Midbar that the Jews had tznius and they didn't have the entrance opposite a different entrance. Each entrance had nothing opposite it. Or your cotton, if you had a small entrance, lo yasenu godol, you shouldn't make it a big one. Sova Romi bar Choma lemeima, Romi bar Choma for to say, bar Daled, if you had the entrance at the size of Daled Amis, lo yishver bar Tamya, you shouldn't make it a double size of 8 Amis. Why? The kotak shakil Tamya, the koshokil Tamya b'chotza. We learned early on in Baba Basra that each person in his Pesach to the Chotzer has Keneged the Pesach, meaning if he has a 4 Ames Pesach, so 4 Ames Keneged the Pesach belongs only to him to unload and to load, etc. But if he has a Pesach that's 8 amas, he has 8 amas connected the Pesach. So that's why if you have a 4 amas Pesach, Rami Bar Chama 4, you can't make it into 8 amas because he's taking more of the chotzer to be his private. Abo Bar Tarti, if he has a door that's 2, and anyway a door of 2 has 4 amas, Lishvei Bar Abba, you can make it into a 4 amma Pesach because you're not taking anything away more in the chotzer. Shaper dominates mutter. Omale Rava told Ron Bar Chama, no. Motzi Omale, the other shutuf in the chotzer could tell the person who wants to make the Pesach bigger. If you have a 2 amas Pesach, it's easier for me to hide from you because there's only a certain area that you could look at into the chotzer, and it's easy for me to hide. If you make a big one of 4 amas, I have to hide myself more because now you can see more into the chotzer, and therefore I don't agree with it, and therefore I'm not willing for you to make the Pesach of 2 amas into 4 amas. If you had 1 door, 1 window, you shouldn't make it 2. So Rami Bar Chama 4 to say, Boy, if it's the size of 4, loy lishver tray by tray, made tarti. If the door is 4 amas, you shouldn't make it close half the door and open another door of 2 amas, meaning even though they had 4 amas door, and now he's splitting it into 2, meaning he's making 2 doors of 2 amas. Why? That's forbidden. Lo lishver trade me tarti. Tarti de koshokel tamni bechotza, because each door, even though that's less than 4 amas, takes 4 amas. If you have 2 door, if you had 1 door 4 amas, you only take 4 amas in the chotza. Now you have 2 doors of 2 amas, you're taking 8 amas in the chotza. Because shakil tamni bechotza is taking 8 amas in the chotza, like we said before. Bar tamni, if I had 1 door that's 8, and I'm anyway have 8 amas in the chotza, so therefore lishvebnei our boy. Shapradomi, it's mutter to make it into 2 doors of 4 because each door of 4 takes only 4 amas. I'm not taking anything more in the chotza. Shapradomi, Amale Rava, so Rava told Ron Bar Chama, Moti Amale, the neighbor could tell him, Bechad Pitcha, if you have 1 door, even though that's 8 amas wide, Motzina it's Tanuminoch. I could hide, I could do private stuff where the door of 8 amas where you can't peek. The tray, but if you make it in 2 different places, I don't have where to hide away from you, and therefore it's an issue, and therefore you're not allowed to do it. We said even though I'm in the chotzer, you're not allowed to open a Pesach. Connect the Pesach of your neighbor, you have to keep away from the Pesach of the neighbor and not do it directly across. But if it's in Rosh Hashanah, it's mutter. Says it more, why is that? The person who built the Pesach can get Pesach. So if at the end of the day, your boys it's Tanuyim near Rosh Hashanah, you have to hide yourself from the people in Rosh Hashanah. So that I'm building a Pesach over here, can I get your Pesach? I don't have to make you hide more because anyway, people are always crossing Rosh Hashanah and they could look into your Pesach, and you have to hide yourself from them. So that I'm doing a Pesach, can I get your Pesach is no issue. Says the Mishnah, Ein oisim cholol tachas Rosh Hashanah. You're not allowed to make a hollow place underneath Rosh Hashanah. What type of hollow place? Explains the Mishnah. Boros, Sichinum, Oros, all different types of places where you store water. You're not allowed to dig from your chotzer into Rosh Hashanah underneath Rosh Hashanah because someone in Rosh Hashanah could fall in and it's dangerous. Rabbi Loza Mate Kadesh Tia Golo Maleches V'Tuna Avonim. Rabbi Loza says, if you build this cave, this bor, this siach, this ma'ara underneath Rosh Hashanah, and you build the roof so strong that if a carriage goes on top of it full of rocks and it doesn't fall in, so then there's no issue because you made it very safe to near Rosh Hashanah. Says the Mishnah, if my chotzer, my house is next to Rosh Hashanah, and I want to take out zizim or small pieces that come out, destroys the bigger pieces into Rosh Hashanah, it's forbidden because now people in Rosh Hashanah can hit on it and be nizek from it, so you're causing damage. Elo imrotza, if you wanted to take out zizim or destroys from your wall, what should you do? You should put the wall that belongs to you into your rishus. That means not on the border of Rishus Harabim. And then you could take out, so let's say instead of building the wall on the edge of Rosh Hashanah, you build it to Amo inside your own property, and then you could take out Zizim Gustrois up to Amo, because it's still your own private property. If someone bought a chotza, and from this chotza the Zizim Gustrois are going to Rosh Hashanah, this person doesn't have to prove that the person who originally built it with permission. Since he bought it in this condition, he could keep this condition and he doesn't have to change anything. Says the Gemara of Rabbanon, why do Rabbanon argue in Rabbi Elazar and say even though that he built the roof of this boiler that's underneath Rosh Hashanah very strong, it's forbidden to do so? L'chara, he built it very strong. A lorry full of rocks or a carriage full of rocks could go on top. Says the Gemara, the reason is sometimes the mafchis gets weak, the roof, the ceiling of this cave. The lavadatim doesn't know about it and he won't strengthen it, and then it's going to fall in, and then these people are going to have to be tovea him and they get damaged. So therefore, for this chashasha, maybe in the future it's going to get weaker. It's forbidden to do this bor underneath Rosh Hashanah. We learned in the Mishnah, you're not allowed to take out these poles or bigger poles into Rosh Hashanah. Rav Ami Avile Ziza, he had this piece that came out. That went out not into Rosh Hashanah. So the way it would work, there was a street, there was a houses. Around the house was a chotza. After the chotza, there was a mavur that belonged to all the people in all the chatzeres around there, and then there were the Rosh Hashanah. So his ziz went out into the mavur. And there was this other man, Nami, he was taking out the ziz into Rosh Hashanah, not into the mavur. Also, so the people in Rosh Hashanah took this person to court in front of Rav Ami to say he's not allowed to do that. So Rav Ami told this person, Zil koitz, go cut this ziz. It's forbidden to take out a ziz into Rosh Hashanah. So this person told Rav Ami, you also have a ziz going outside from your private property into a public property. So if the bach is good, so Rav Ami answered this person, Didi, mine that lemivur mapik. It's not going into Rosh Hashanah. Yes, it's going to a public place, but it's going to a public place to the mavur. Mevur machling gaboy. Mevur, who owns a mavur? All the people of all these chetzeres, but specific people, and they could be meichel for me to do so. The doch yours is Rosh Hashanah mapik. It goes out to Rosh Hashanah. Man machel gaboch. You can't have Rosh Hashanah be meichel because you can't gather them all together. Because even if you gather all the people from here, maybe someone else from another town is not meichel, and therefore you can't do that. Rav Yanai had the tree that was going into Rosh Hashanah. There was this man. We also had the tree that was going into Rosh Hashanah. Also, Rosh Hashanah came the people of Rosh Hashanah. They told him, we don't want your tree going into Rosh Hashanah. Please cut it. Also, like I made Rav Yanai, so they pulled this person to Bezdin in front of Rav Yanai. So Rav Yanai told this person, Daf Samechom Beis, Zila Ibno, go now, the Tolomocho. Please go, leave, and come tomorrow, and I'll pass in your psak. Balaylo, that night, Rav Yanai Shoda sent Katze. Day he cut his tree his own tree that was going into Rosh Hashanah. The next day, also this person came in front of him, in front of Rabbi Yanai. Omalei, Rabbi Yanai told this person, Zil koitz, please cut your tree that's going into Rosh Hashanah. Omalei, this person told Rabbi Yanai, Homar Namisle, you yourself have a tree going into Rosh Hashanah, so why are you telling me to cut mine and you don't cut yours? Omalei, so Rabbi Yanai answered him, Zil chosi, go have a look. If mine is cut, if my tree that's going to Rosh Hashanah is cut, cut your own. If mine is still standing, you don't need to cut yours. And obviously he went and he saw the Rav Yanai's was cut. If mine is not cut, you don't need to cut. Rav Yanai at the beginning, they had a tree into Rosh Hashanah. What did he think? And what made him change his mind afterwards that he cut it? At the beginning, he thought it's very nice that he has a tree going to Rosh Hashanah because it gives shade to people in Rosh Hashanah, and they could, in a hot sunny day, they could sit underneath the tree. Since he saw that they are complaining against this other person who had a tree going to Rishus Rabim, and the reason why they didn't complain against him because they had respect for him and they didn't want to hack the rabbi. Shodar Kaitze, that's why he went and cut his tree. Fragt the Gemara, why did Rav Yanai send him home and then only call him the next day? Why didn't Rav Yanai say, oh, now that I realize that's an issue that's bothering Rishus Rabin, go cut yours and I'm going to cut mine later. So the Gemara, Mishum de Rish Lakish, because of dinner of Rish Lakish, the Omar, as I said, we learn from the Pasuk, is Koishishu the Koishu, and we learn from there, Kshoit Atzmecha, first judge yourself, don't judge other people on something that you're not doing right. And therefore, Rav Yanai couldn't tell him, you cut yours and I'll cut mine. No, first he had to cut his own, and only then he could tell this person to cut his. If he wants, if he wants to take Zizim Gustrois outside his wall, so he can build the wall inside his Rishos, and he leaves some space of his Rishos. And in that space, he could take out Zizim the Gustrois. Says the Gemara Shaila, Konas v'lo yoitzi, ma'u shiachze v'yoitzi. So what then? A person built the wall instead of on the border of Rishus Rabin, he took in a meter in, and then they didn't build the Zidim Gustrois. If he didn't get around to do it, and 5 years later he wants to build it, do we say now Rishus Rabin was zoicha in this space and he can't build the Zidim Gustrois or not? Rabbi Yochanan Omar Konas Moiti, if he built his wall into his own shetach, in his own, he's still allowed to be moiti later on. Rish Lakish Omar Konas Eino Moiti, if he put in, he's not allowed to be moiti. Omar Le Rabbi Yaakov Rabbi Umir about Tachlifa. Rabbi Yaakov told to Rabbi Umir, the son of Tachlifa, Asberolach. Let me explain you the machloik. It's not the way we learned it, it's a bit different. Loiti Kula Alma Loi Pligi de Moiti. Everyone agrees that if you put your wall into your own shetach, you're allowed to build Zizim Gustrois out of there even in a later date. Kipligi, what's a machloikes? La'achzir ksolim limkoimom. If at the end of the day, this person who built his wall a meter into his own property, and now a few years later he wants to rebuild the wall on the border of Rishus Rabim. The Ipchet man, we learn this machloikes opposite because we want that Rabbi Yochanan should be going lefi the halacha. Rabbi Yochanan, he's not allowed to build the wall because once we'll see in a second why. Rish Lakish says you are allowed to build the wall back. Rabbi Yochanan, once you build the wall into your own property, you're not allowed to put it back on the border of Rishus Rabim, Mishum Rav Yehuda, because of the din of Rav Yehuda that we paskin like him, and that's why we say that we changed over Rabbi Yochanan, because we want to go like Rabbi Yochanan to be like Rabbi Yehuda, that's halacha like him. The Omer Rabbi Yehuda meitzer shich zikui b'Rabbim, a way that the Rabbim, the minhag that they could go over there, so like over here, that once you built a wall, a meter into your own property, people would go on that meter. Also, the calculator, you're not allowed to ruin it, and therefore, once you built a wall, a meter in, and Rishus Rabbim are walking over there, you're not allowed to ruin it. Rish Lakish Omar Machzer, you're all allowed to go back. Hani Mili, when did Rabbi Yehuda say his din, the meter shich zikru b'Rabbim, also the calculator, echad eleka ravcha, where there's not enough space, and that's the way, and now you're making it very narrow for the Rabbim to go past. It's a problem. Here, before you built the wall a meter in, there was enough space for people to go past. And now that you made it wider, very nice, it's very, very wide. But now that you make it smaller again, they still have enough place to go, and therefore there's no problem of Meitzer Shich Zikoi Boy Rabbim. We learned in the Mishnah, Loka Chotza Bozizim Gustrois, Aryeh B'Cheskos, or someone who bought a Chotza that has already Zizim Gustrois on it, he doesn't need to prove that it was built with permission. Says the Gemara, Omar Avuna, Noflo, if this person bought the chotzer where had Zizim Gustrois and it fell down, so you're allowed to rebuild it together with the Zizim Gustrois. Basically, he says the more cash on this, you're not allowed to put plaster like nice on the wall. And it's a different type of plaster. If you want Shatan or Rashban and Feichim, you're not allowed to make paintings on the wall. This man is there our days because we want to remember Churban Beit HaMikdash. Loka chotzer mesuyedes, if you bought a chotzer that has already nice plaster on the wall, mechuyeres and mechuyeches, and it's already on it, aredu b'cheskotzer, you don't have to damage it. Noflo, but if it fell down and now you want to rebuild it, you're allowed to rebuild the walls, but you're not allowed to make it nice like it was in the beginning because you're not allowed to do that. So we could see, even though that at the beginning it was mutter, afterwards it's forbidden to do. So why over here, if you bought the chotzer with zizim destroys, that's something that lechatchila you're not allowed to do. If it fell, you're allowed to rebuild it. What's the difference? So the Gemara Isura shiny, it's different Isura. Over there, it's Issa to be Zoicha Churban Beis Hamikdash. Once it fell down, you're not allowed to rebuild it. But over here, it's not Issa, and therefore you're allowed to rebuild it the way it was. Tanu Rabbanon, since we learned about this din about Churban Beis Hamikdash, we're going to learn a few dinim about this. Lo Yisod Adam is Beis Besid. You're not allowed to plaster your house with plaster. If you mixed in the sand, or teven, or hay, mutter. Rabbi Yehuda if you mixed sand, aryeh tarich sid, but also even though they makes it not as white and it's a bit blacker, but it makes it better. Tarich sid means stronger, binyan chazak v'toiv. So even though that's black, but since it's very strong, you're not allowed to do it. V'asa teven, if you mixed in the sid, teven, hey, mutter, you're allowed to put that on the walls. Ton Rabbanon, kichshchar v'binyan b'shnio, when the second Churban Beis Hamikdash, Rabbu Prushim B'Yisrael, shaloi le'echoil basa v'shaloi lishtois yain. There were many people who stopped eating meat and stopped drinking wine. Mitfo lehem Rabbi Yeshua went to them, Amalei, and he told them, Bonai, miplema atem oichim basa. What's the reason that you're not eating meat? Ve'ein atem shoisim yain, and you're not drinking wine? Amuloi, they told him, Noichal basa shemenu makrivim al gabe mizbeach. Bach Shabbat, we should eat meat. That from meat was brought on the mizbeach, we should eat meat. V'mishte yain shemenachim al gabe mizbeach. Wine that was brought to the mizbeach, and now there's no mizbeach. Bach Shabbat, there's no mizbeach, and we should drink wine. Amar lehem. So Rabbi Yeshua told them, Im kein lechem lo noichal, don't eat bread. Shekvar botlu menachos. Now there's no menachos to the mizbeach, to the Beis Hamikdash, and it's brought from bread, so you shouldn't eat bread. So they said, okay, maybe we won't eat bread. Efshar b'peres, very good. We'll eat only fruit. So he told them, peres lo noichal, so don't even eat fruit. Shekvar botlu bikurin, there's no bikurin. Because the Beis Hamikdash is bottled, so don't eat fruit. So they told him, Efshar b'peres acherim, you're right, we won't eat peres that we bring bikurim from Shivas Haminim, we'll eat other peres. So he told them, don't drink wine. There's no misachamayim. And now what are you going to do? No drink water? Shotku, they kept quiet. Amalei, so Rabbi Shua told them, Bonai, my sons, let me come and tell you, not to be misavel whatsoever, it's not possible. Because it's something very bad happened, and we have to be in avelus. And to be avelus more than too much, it's not good. Why? It's not possible. Shem goes in zero al tzibur. You can't pass in zero on the tzibur. Ellen kain road tzibur chodin lamud. Only if most of the tzibur could stand the zero. Why is that so? The chsivitz and the pasuk b'me'eratim ne'orim v'oisiatim koyvim agoy kuloi. It says over there that the Novi was upset in Malachi because it didn't keep the Gzera, and it said that most of the Goy were Mekabel the Gzera, so we could see that only a Gzera that Roiv Tzibur could accept, then the Gzera is Chal. So Rabbi Yeshua said to them, you can't do a Gzera not to eat meat and not to drink wine, it's too much of a Gzera, only big tzaddikim could keep that. Elokach Amru Chacham, so Rabbi Yeshua told these people, this is what Chacham said. So this is the Avelus you should do, to have Avelus but not too much. Sod Adam is Beis Besid. If a person paints his house, you don't finish the whole house. You leave a place where you don't put on the paint. The camera. How much do you need to leave? On the that's the amount you need to keep not painted. Rav Chizah said, where do you do this? Keneged a Pesach, in front of the door, and like we know the minig is, and it's I think brought down in Shulchan Aruch, that when you paint your house new, you should leave a in front of the entrance. A person makes a big meal, he does everything. They leave something. What's the thing that you don't do in the meal? It's a type of little dish that you'd have fried fish in it. So that you shouldn't have. They have everything, but don't eat the fried fish. Oisa isha kol tachshiteh, a woman does all her makeup and all her jewelry. Mishayeres davamot, but she leaves something. Mahi, what's the thing that she leaves? For Zeichar Churban. Omarav basto. Basto means panful. Shurgilus losut shom ulashil saron. It's a rako. I think if I'm not mistaken, it's over here and over there. They won't put makeup to remember the Churban. Shneimar, because it says in the pasuk, "Im ishkochich Yerushalayim." If I forget Yerushalayim, tishkach yemini. My right, my strength is going to be forgotten. Tidbak leshoini lechiki. My tongue will be stuck to the mouth. In the continuation of the pasuk, I'm going to read it inside. If I won't remember Yerushalayim even on my happy days. My al roy simchosi, says the Gemara. What does it mean al roy simchosi? Omar Abitzchok, the eifa makle beroish chasonim. That's a minig to put burnt ashes on the head of a chosin. Omar leira popela abaye eichema nochlo. Where do you put it? We're not going to fill in. You put it the earth, the burnt ashes that you put on the head of the chosin, you put it in the makom of tefillin over here, where the tefillin goes. How do we know that? Shenemar, it's in the pasuk, loshum lav leitzioin, lotzis loim per tachas ofo, and pe'er is tefillin, and therefore in the makom of tefillin you put the ashes. We call him mis'avel al Yerushalayim, anyone who's upset because Yerushalayim is destroyed. Zoicha v'roi b'simchosei. Zoicha, and he sees the binyan beis hamikdash. Shenemar, it's on the pasuk simchu Yerushalayim, and I'm going to read the whole pasuk. V'gilu bo kol hayaveo sisu ito mosois kol hamisablim oleo. Anyone who was upset will be zoicha to see the binyan beis hamikdash. Tanya Omar Rabbi Shmuel ben Elisha. Rabbi Shmuel ben Elisha says, from the day the temple was destroyed, din should be that we should not eat meat, and not to drink wine. Elo, the reason why we don't do this, ain't goes in zero, we can't be zero on everyone. Elohim Cain, only if and since this is too much of a zero, you can't do such a big zero. And from the day that the Malchus, I think of Rome, should go zero for learning zeros for rois the koshois, they put bad zeros on us. And with that, the Torah, and they cancel us from learning Torah mitzvahs. They manachas oisonu, and they don't let us lichonis l'shavua ben to do a bris milah. Some people say pidyon ben, and that's some people say you're not going with this part. Dinu, the din shnitzu al atzmeinu shelo liso isha lo litbani. L'chara, the din should be that we should not get married and have kids, because if we do, we can't do a bris milah. The mitzvah is Avraham Avinu kolom eilav, and then the kids of Avraham Avinu, of Yitzchak, of Yaakov, the Jewish people will get this finished, because if we don't get married, no continuation. Elo, the reason why we're not goyzers is Anoch learn Israel. It's better to leave them and not to be goyzers that you're not allowed to get married. Mutav shirushoigim and get married and have children. Value mezidim, and they shouldn't be mazed, because if you tell them not to get married, they will still get married. It's a very hard thing not to get married. People need it, and therefore we're not goyzers this zera, and therefore people could get married better. They should be shoigim Hashem mezidim. Hadron aloch cheskas abatim. We should come back to you cheskas abatim. And we all should be zoichet to be misa'abel al churban beis hamikdash and be upset and realize and feel what loss we have, that we don't have a beis hamikdash kaim, and we don't have a place where Hashem's mashre shchina in this world, and Hashem's homeless type of thing in this world doesn't have a place of ashras shchina like he used to have. And we should be zoichet to learn again cheskas abatim and to remember all the halachos of the shchinos and all the dinim and be mikayim it, and we should Zoichel binyan beis hamikdash, Meira b'yomeinu, Amen.